New on Curiosity Stream. He allows them their riches.
Putin has to be the richest of the rich.
In exchange for their loyalty.
The oligarchs have supported someone for president that they underestimate.
The illicit affair between Russia's elite and the man who rules them on Putin and the oligarchs. And World War II Normandy. An obscure battle training session takes a tragic turn. Uncover the one secret military catastrophe on the secret D-Day disaster. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit CuriosityStream.com.
Well, great balls of fire, Bubba. What happened, Buford? That crazy son of a Sal blew right through that four-way stop on Main Street and plowed into my cowboy Cadillac.
Your what?
My pickup truck. And I'm pretty sure my leg is broken, Ted.
Oh, quit your bitching, Buford, and talk with those side busters at the Advocates Law Firm. When I got busted up last month, well, shoot, they made sure those snakes at the insurance company played fair.
Boy, howdy. Even that creepy so-and-so Kyle earned his keep.
So if you get injured, the advocates get results. AdvocatesLaw.com.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, The Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
Unfortunately, what you're about to hear is real. The members of this radio program are simply not that bright, or what some people would call educated. They are merely stupid. They're not trying to offend anyone on purpose. And all have played doctors on TV. You have been warned and are cordially invited to join the party. This is the Men's Room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. You know what they say, shake your radio more than 3 times, and you're playing with it. You're listening to the Men's Room.
And away we go. Welcome to season 17, episode number 3625. Along with Steve the Thrill Hill, the Ted Smith, and Mike Hawk. And you are the Men's Room. On tap today, Ryan Castle joins us for Sit and Spin from his basement studio bar dungeon. Today, we get a little solo time with 10 songs for Singles Awareness Day. Which is today. We will play Profile This, plus headlines, the Men's Room Shot of the Day, funnable listener emails, and everyone's favorite TV Time with Ted.
Clack, clack.
Drinking and drunk. All right, here we go. Drunken Florida woman on a motorized suitcase at airport leads cops on a low-speed chase. Meanwhile, a woman travels across the country to surprise her boyfriend and finds another woman at his place. Serbian lady says that men will not date her because they are intimidated by her butt. Did you see it? Utah police, God almighty, find finger in man's wallet that had recently been cut. And rain, snow, sleet, or hail, nothing will stop the U.S. mail other than a bottle of vodka. That is all coming on today's very special episode of The Men's Room.
And now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Good day to you and yours. Here are a few statistics for you. On average, 143 million people in the United States visit the emergency room every year. About 1 in 5 adults visit the emergency room at least once a year. That's quite a lot. But the good news is, only about 12% of these ER visits result in hospital admissions. In other words, if you have to go to the ER, there's an 88% chance you'll be sent home the same day. The thing about the ER is that there are so many different reasons that people find themselves there. Now, the 5 most common reasons: sprains, broken bones, abdominal pain, lacerations or cuts, and headaches. No surprises there. But it's the how and the why that we have sprains, broken bones, abdominal pain, lacerations, and headaches that makes things memorable. About 1,700 people a year visit the ER as a direct result of vending machines. Last year, nearly 3,000 people went to the ER because of pizza. I'm not 100% sure how the pizza sent them there, but pizza seemed to be the direct correlation. And then there are those who, those individuals, or people seek emergency for very individual reasons, like the man who put a live eel up his rectum, or the man who was hit in the face by a flying squirrel while riding his bike. That, by the way, is why I stopped riding bikes, all the flying squirrels. So today, We want to hear your unfortunate stories of an ER visit, whether it was for you in particular or you were there on behalf of someone else. Maybe you got kids, maybe as a parent, who knows. So today's question, quite simply, why did you end up in the ER?
Be part of the big show. Call 206-421-ROCK. Like the Men's Room on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Men's Room Live. And send those emails to the Men's Room at KISW.com.
New on Curiosity Stream, he allows them their riches
Putin has to be the richest of the rich.
in exchange for their loyalty.
The oligarchs have supported someone for president that they underestimated.
The illicit affair between Russia's elite and the man who rules them on Putin and the oligarchs. And World War II Normandy. An obscure battle training session takes a tragic turn. Uncover the one secret military catastrophe on the secret D-Day disaster. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit CuriosityStream.com.
Hey, all of Macholas, thank you so much for listening to the Men's Room podcast.
And thanks to our pals at the Advocates Law Firm for being great partners. Yes, even you, creepy Kyle.
Seriously, though, if you'd been injured as a result of somebody else in your car, on your bike, walking across the street, talk to our friends at the Advocates Law Firm and let them help you out.
Yeah, they're the best injury lawyers around, and they want to make sure that you're not taken advantage of. Plus, your first consultation is free.
It's simple. You get injured, the advocates get results. Contact them today at advocateslaw.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
All Macholas, away we go. Welcome to season 17, episode number 3625. What a large and in charge program we have for you today. Maybe if you happen to be listening to Ryan Castle, you already know, based on his show, that he brought up the fact that today is Singles Awareness Day. The day after Valentine's is known as Singles Awareness Day.
I would argue that Valentine's Day is also Singles Awareness Day.
If you are single, you are very aware that it is Valentine's Day.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But today is your day.
What do you do? Do you get a card for this?
You go someplace and they have a fixed menu for singles people.
There you go.
You're
just ordering for one? Yeah, you can't order any
exactly. You get like 2 mozzarella sticks with the appetizer. You know what I mean?
They make the orders on the appetizer menu smaller.
For what?
And different than they would normally serve at the very restaurant.
No nachos. You know what I mean? Nothing big is available on the menu. It's all...
we're sorry.
It's all small plates of food. You know what I mean? For just one.
But to make you feel better, we're going to give you 2 forks with your meal.
And they put one of those cutouts of people in the chair in front of you. So, when you're sitting there, you know what I mean? It could be a celebrity. It could be one of your favorite wrestlers, whoever you want to eat with. You know what I mean?
Perfect.
When you do your reservation, they say, who would you ideally like to dine with? And then
Chewbacca.
They print up a cutout.
I'm having dinner with Chewbacca.
Put it in that chair. So it's a wonderful day. And in honor of that, Ryan Castle will bring us today 10 songs for Singles Awareness Day. So if you're looking for a soundtrack,
like one from Metallica? Single,
you know what? Absolutely.
One from U2.
Right. One from, who else did one? Three Dog Night. One is the loneliest number.
Oh, was that Three Dog Night?
I believe so, yeah.
Oh, wow. They were Three Dog Night. They're like, yeah, but one, that's the loneliest number.
That's right.
Yeah, that's 3 dogs making fun of the one.
When you when you sit down at the table, they serve everything in a solo cup. Because it's just you. I mean, it's a nice plastic cup. You get to take it home with you. You know what I mean? Which is a nice parting gift. But it's blue. It's not red. What is going on out there? These people are nuts. So, Ryan Castle coming up. We'll sit and spin 10 songs for Singles Awareness Day. And also today, as we head on over to the Men's Room Happy Hour.
Alone Again from Dockin.
There you go.
Sorry.
Alone from Heart.
Yeah. Come on, Ted. You got to have something. Some lonely song.
I mean, I'm sure there's a bunch of them. I'm just trying to think of one with one in it.
Or Lonely.
Bieber, right?
Bieber's got a song called Lonely?
Literally, I'm pretty sure it's just called Lonely, right?
All right.
I mean, that's the chorus. I'm so lonely.
Feel bad about yourself, you'll feel worse. So on the Men's Room Happy Hour today, since we took the day off yesterday, as we do normally, it's a tradition of ours to take the Monday off after the Super Bowl. But we will say this, that is the last official time we're ever going to have to do it, because as of next year, Super Bowl Sunday happens the weekend of President's Day.
Correct.
Yeah. So that's the last one we'll ever have like that. Well, not what we're going to get the Monday off. We just don't have to formally put the paperwork in.
Correct.
It's a holiday.
And I'm very happy to say it did not snow this year in Seattle. Oddly enough, on Super Bowl Sunday, therefore having my kids stay home with me on the day I'd taken off. It was glorious.
Mm-hmm. So we did we looked at some of the prop bets that were available for the Super Bowl. So we're going to go over those. A couple of them I could not find the results to. Like, you'd think that would be up someplace. But there were one or two bets that we did where I'm not exactly sure. But either way, we've got the majority of them covered as far as the winners and the losers. Believe it or not, we all did pretty well.
Which is funny, because I was in 3 pools and did awful in the other 2.
Really? As far as when you were at parties and stuff?
Right. We did one at the get-together I was at, then I do one with my cousins every year. And, I only got 7 points right out of 30.
Okay, all right.
It was awful.
Yeah.
The only thing, I couldn't remember each prop bet I made other than the Gatorade color. I was pissed off when it was blue.
Yeah, and it made complete sense. It's the Rams. It's probably going to be yellow or blue, right?
No, we should have thought about it.
And orange if you thought the Bengals were going to win.
All right, but is there a team out there that is a team color that Gatorade does not mimic? Right? So he said even if it's the Saints, maybe you get the classic lemon lime, right? Close enough to gold, maybe to pass.
Maybe blue if the Seahawks won, right?
Right. We saw the blue yesterday.
I think they have enough colors that somebody has something in there. You know what I mean?
Trying to think
the Las Vegas Raiders.
You got blue and silver.
No, there's a black and silver.
Black and
silver. So there you go. That's one you could not.
No, they'll dump coffee on them.
I guess you're just putting water on them. I was shocked it was just the color of Gatorade. I just assumed it would be water.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you got to go Gatorade. Come on.
Got some prop bets coming up on the Men's Room Happy Hour. By the way, if you haven't checked that out yet, it's an adult-only extra segment we do every day. It's more Men's Room, and basically, once you get that Odyssey app, just look for the Men's Room Happy Hour channel. It will go live at 6 Monday through Friday when we do the Happy Hour. That's when we're here. Days like yesterday, if we're not here and we're doing a repeat show, there's not
hell
going to be
knows
Happy Hour. But there will be today. So hopefully you can download that and join us for a little Men's Room Happy Hour coming up. What else we got today? Oh, we're going to talk about going to the ER.
Yay!
Good times. Oh, we have a special announcement coming up here. I'll get to that too. Sorry, we got something.
Do we?
Yeah, we got something new for you.
God, right. No, I totally forgot.
Okay.
That's how special it is.
The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission, not only do they serve the purpose designed to help normal people by holding businesses accountable for shoddy products, they actually do a really good job on social media. And the guy who runs it, Joe Galbo, people love this guy. He's one of those guys that runs an account where it's just entertaining, like Wendy's or some of these other brands and Steakums that go out and just roast people.
Velveeta,
that kill people for no reason. You know what I'm saying? Well,
sometimes it's bad when your social media is better than the product you're promoting.
Look, Velveeta hit me back this past weekend, and then I saw one that just said, "Trust the processed."
Well done.
The process.
I said it all weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Lord. See, I don't like Velveeta, but their social media, great.
Did you give them a shout-out because you used their cheese in one of your dips?
I did.
Okay.
I spent a lot of time looking for Velveeta. I was just reminding people it's not in the cold section.
No, it's on the shelf.
Why would it need to be cold?
It's government cheese.
Yeah.
That's what we used to get for school lunch. That was, that was the equivalent of cheese back in the day.
By the way, real quick, if the Raiders ever do win the Super Bowl, Frosted Cherry Gatorade, it's actually a frosty white color.
Oh, all right.
So there you go.
Okay. Well, the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission, they were trying to mark the occasion of National Pizza Day.
Okay.
Right? So what they do is they basically anytime there's any kind of recall on a product or something that's dangerous out there, they just want to make sure that the public is aware. So if there's a recall on an airbag or anything like that, they get that information out there so that you know that there's something is not right with the product. And that's why they recall these products and actually pull them off the shelves when there's something out there that could do harm to an infant or whatever the deal is. They warn people like this product could be a choking hazard as a toy or whatever.
Which is anything.
So it was National Pizza Day. So what are they going to do in National Pizza Day? Are they going to tell you about, I don't know how many people, I don't know.
Choke on it?
Whatever the deal is. Who knows? But they tweeted out and reminded their followers that nearly 3,000 people were so severely injured in pizza-related incidents last year, they had to go to the emergency room. They do not say what these incidents are. They don't say if it's choking.
Acid reflux?
They don't say.
I'm going to say like third-degree burns to the face.
Okay.
Right? You bite into that super hot-ass pizza. I don't know.
What if but you got to remember something else. When you're carrying pizzas, we all know that you should carry them in front of you. Basically, you're not seeing your feet.
Yeah.
You could trip down the steps with these boxes.
That's fair. That's fair.
You could fall. You might be able to see something. Maybe you step on something in your house and bite it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Twist your ankle or any of those things. I'm I thought about this. I don't know.
Is there another
Did
way
they
to
choke?
carry a pizza? It's
No.
not like you could hold it another way.
Well, if you go to a certain place down the street, you'll sometimes put the pizza in your bag sideways. You know what I'm saying? You're just thinking to yourself, what the hell's wrong with these people? It's just one slice of pizza in a triangle box, and now you put it in my bag on its side.
But that's not a pizza place.
It's a slice of pizza.
It's not a pizza
But the
joint.
difference
though.
is
Come
this
on.
with their pizza. I thought the same thing. And while the pizza itself tasted fine, I noticed none of the cheese or toppings moved. And this had just come out of the oven. So in your mind, the cheese is still a little gooey.
Should be.
They stick it in sideways. Right. I walk up the hill. I sit down in the office. I'm like, I don't know why the toppings don't move on this. Right? I mean, honest to God, like any other pizza, if you turn it sideways, all the crap moves somewhere. Not on these pizzas.
Right.
Oh, no.
I bet there's a number of people who do pizza delivery who get injured. Basically, probably by falling or whatever the deal is. But, you know, I mean, I'm sure it's not unheard of.
No, but I'm just saying, like, right, with pizza, that's one of the few things, that's the only way you can carry it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe you're right. The tripping part. That's
Exactly.
the only thing I can think, other than the occasional burn to the face.
But whatever the case is that you end up in the ER, sometimes it is not your proudest moment. I mean, there's a reason out there. While there's a contraption just to put a bagel in, so you can cut the bagel without slicing your hand open. Because most people, you know, like, they don't want to admit it. I mean, if you go to the ER and you cut your hand wide open, like, I was trying to cut a bagel. Sure. It's the dumbest thing in the world.
Or an avocado.
I want to say that Robin was trying to open up, was it a jar of pickles?
Jar of pickles.
Jar of pickles. She ends up she comes in the next day, and her hand looks like, you know, a mummy. And, you know, what happened there? I don't know if the jar exploded. I don't know exactly what happened. But when you're in the ER, you know what I mean, and you're bleeding profusely, it's one thing to say you slipped and you hit your head, or you banged your head on something, or whatever the deal is. It's another thing to say, I was opening up a jar of pickles.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Here's the thing about the ER, right? So they listed the top 5 reasons why people go, and you go, well, none of those are embarrassing. It's not the injury. What did you do to injure yourself that this happened? So if Rama goes to the ER and says, hey, man, I cut my hand open with glass, you're like, ooh, that's pretty severe. Opening a jar of pickles. Well, now, that's when you can say, yeah, I slipped and fell and I bumped my head. They go, man, oh man, that sucks. Like, because I pooped on the floor, slipped on my own turd, and smashed my face on the sink. Not so cool anymore.
Yeah. And believe it or not, out of those people who go to the ER, all right, only 16% of people who go to the emergency room need to stay in the hospital.
Yeah.
So when they say, like, look, we're going to have to keep you overnight, that's not a good situation.
That means yours is worse than most people,
means
whatever it is.
Yeah, like, you needed to get to the doctor, and you needed to get there immediately.
And I know this sounds bad, but I was saying this earlier. Like, last time I went to the emergency room, it was for my daughter, busting her head open on the bed, right? And it sounds bad, love her to death, but deep down, I'm glad I'm there for someone else. Even if it's, like, because it's the emergency room, which means it might not be life or death, but you definitely need to be seen quickly. And yes, she's bleeding profusely in my hands and all this, but I'm thinking, glad this ain't me.
Sure. Percentage of transfers is about 2%. So if you go in there like, we need to fly you here, you are really, really screwed. And if you're like me and you read a lot of the local news in the area, occasionally, like any other major city, you know, you get people who get shot, right? Well, it's always somebody just drops someone off and, like, let them open the door and rolled them out at the ER. Like, here, man, go get some help. I'm gone.
I'm out of here.
You know, it's like, dude, if my friend got shot, right? Regardless, it doesn't matter the circumstances of the situation.
You can't say that.
Don't know. But I didn't shoot him. I didn't shoot him.
We don't know if you shot them. There's a reason. Look, the person who pulled off.
Dude, I'll take you, but I'm not staying.
Yeah.
Or you don't know what you were involved in when you got shot.
Right?
Like, generally, that's not going to be a random act of violence.
No.
Yeah. Traditionally, like, if I walk in with you, we got mugged.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm dropping you off, like, yeah, I was at the house party, listen, I might not be involved in why you got shot, but when I was upstairs doing blow with 18 hookers, like, I still recognize my part's illegal.
Kodak Black got shot over the weekend. His friends took him to the hospital.
Sure, because he gets shot a lot.
Well, I know that. I mean, like, they didn't
like a punch card.
They didn't open the door and throw him out and keep on driving.
And he's the reason that some of his friends have money.
Right. They need to take care of him because
okay, all right, fair enough.
Like a parasite would do everything it could to make sure the host stays all right. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So
right, but if you're involved in a small time drug deal and your buddy gets shot, like which one of you wants to tell the cops why you got shot?
Because that's the thing. If you show up with a bullet wound, the doctors have to call the cops. And the fact that is the law says, maybe I don't stick around for this one, man.
Mm-hmm. Mike, why were you in the ER the last time when it had something to do with you? Not somebody else in your life. You can share that if you want to, but when was the last time that it was you were the person who needed to go to the emergency room?
I'm not going to lie, man. I don't remember the last time I was in the emergency room. It was probably when I was a small child and I fell on my dad's boat and cut my chin open. I needed stitches.
Yeah, that's good. I was in the emergency room because I took my front teeth and put them through my bottom lip when I was a kid. I was in the emergency room because my grandfather decided it'd be a good idea to do what he always does and swing me around by my arms in circles, you know what I mean? And kind of like I was flying like Superman, and then pop, both of my shoulders popped out of socket. I've been to the emergency room because at one point in time they thought I was going to need to get my appendix removed. That was one of those cases where I spent the next 3 days in the hospital while they were monitoring me on that. But the last time I went to the ER was because I ate that mushroom and got food poisoning, not a hallucinogenic mushroom. Right. A mushroom that I was cooking with delicious chicken marsala, but it was a funny colored mushroom. But it looked really, really interesting and pretty. And I thought that it would be a good one. And then
you don't look like the other food. You must be delicious.
Next thing I know, I started getting dizzy, and I started getting the mouth sweats and feeling like I needed to, basically puke and have diarrhea at the same time. The ultimate dilemma, right? Mm-hmm. I was kind of in that situation. So I go into the bathroom, and I pass out on the throne. I mean, I literally passed out. And when I passed out, I'm not sure if I was trying to get up to get the blood. I don't know what I was trying to do, but when I fell under the sink pedestal and cracked 2 of my ribs. Now, keep in mind, I had broken 2 other ribs about 4 or 5 months before that on the different side. Those were finally healed up. Right. And then I cracked 2 on the other side when I fell into the sink. I wake up with my pants around my ankles. There are like 3 firemen, you know what I mean, that are in the bathroom. I'm trying to get my pants up. I'm trying to wipe my ass. I'm trying to figure out. Wipe your ass first? But also, when you pass out like that, there's no time. Time it's almost like you wake up and you really need to piece together what has happened.
Because you don't feel like you've been unconscious. It's just, but you're in the future all of a sudden.
Yeah, exactly. And then I woke up and then I got into an ambulance and probably was in the emergency room for maybe 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and then was released after they figured out everything was okay, I guess. But I mean, that was not, you never expect to be in the emergency room. That's the name of the place.
Yeah.
Right. No one gets in their car and thinks I'm going to get in a really bad car crash on the way to the grocery store or whatever. So our question, why did you end up in the ER? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Lisa. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
So when I was a kid, my brothers were building one of these like little indoor plastic tent thing, or little indoor tent things. Well, I thought it was going to be really funny to grab one of the poles and just run towards, for some reason, the bathroom, slipped on a towel, and that pole went straight up the roof of my mouth.
Oh, how far to go up there?
I mean, not enough to hit my brain, I guess, but enough for me to, I still have a scar, a pretty gnarly scar on the roof of my mouth from it. My mom had just gotten home from a funeral, I guess, and all she hears is this blood-curdling scream, literally, because when she came to find me, she said that basically there was a blood bubble that burst as I'm screaming, and what are you doing to find a kid like that? I was 18 months old. I was not old. That's
well, look, it's amazing. You kind of panic, you keep your S together, and you get their ass to the emergency room.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it.
I would almost rather it happen to me, to be honest with you. I know you have the opposite feeling of that, but I would almost rather me be the one that's going through something than to look at a child, my child. If it's somebody else's child, I don't care. But if it's my kid, then you really do care about that person. And trust me, anytime anything happens to a kid, be it on the playground or whatever, if adults are in the area, you know what I mean? It's a traumatic experience.
I hear what you're saying. You misunderstand my position. Look, I would take a bullet for my kid. But if she ended up getting shot because I couldn't, when I'm at the ER, I'm like, man, oh man, I'm glad I didn't get shot.
What if she was old enough to drive you to the ER and just push you out the door and said, you take care of it?
I would tell her, keep going.
I don't want to talk to anybody. Why did you end up in the ER? 206-421-ROCK.
New on Curiosity Stream, she was a loving wife, a devoted mother. She also stole atomic secrets and gave them to the Soviets. Meet the woman whose deception kick-started the Cold War on the spy who stole the atom bomb. And
what if they catch you?
Then I shall be shot.
They're coming! Come back!
Relive history's most death-defying escapes. It's Impossible Escapes: Civil War. Watch now on CuriosityStream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit CuriosityStream.com.
Well, great balls of fire, Bubba. What happened, Buford? That crazy son of a Sal blew right through that four-way stop on Main Street and plowed into my cowboy Cadillac.
Your what?
My pickup truck. And I'm pretty sure my leg is broken, Ted.
Oh, quit your bitching, Buford, and talk with those son busters at the Advocates Law Firm. When I got busted up last month, well, shoot, they made sure those snakes at the insurance company played fair.
Boy, howdy. Even that creepy so-and-so Kyle earned his keep.
So if you get injured, the advocates get results. AdvocatesLaw.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
99.9 KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Big news. Big news. Head to KISW.com right now. Go to the Rock Shop and check out the Men's Room brand new Bubba Bean shirt. Woo! Available now in extra large, extra large, medium, and small. If you get it, you get it. Oh, yeah. And if you like green beans, you will get it. And you will check out that shirt and you'll say, damn, that is a mighty fine shirt there. It is the brand new Bubba Beans t-shirt available now in the Rock Shop at KISW.com.
I have to get one for my son. He actually likes green beans. The food, I don't even know if he's heard the song.
It's a sharp-looking shirt. If you are a fan of... Hell, you know why you're getting the damn thing. Right. If you're in on the joke, just head to KISW.com. Check it out. It's our latest offering. We haven't had a shirt in a while, so there you go.
Really have.
I said, what do you want? We said we want a shirt with beans on it.
How does actually how it went down? You guys have shirt ideas, green beans.
Yeah, green beans. One time they said, what kind of shirt do you want? And we said, we want two turtles having sex. And they said, that's the most ridiculous idea. Is there a logo on it with it? No. Just two turtles having sex. Believe it or not, that shirt sold more than almost any other shirt that we put out. In the history
of the station.
At least since we've been here. So we know that for a fact. That we didn't think it was going to be that. We thought it was funny. It was a joke. Here's the sound of some turtles having sex. Why don't we have a shirt? So now, in honor of green beans, we have a green bean shirt for you. Wear it with pride.
I like the shirt, by the way. It's actually a pretty cool looking shirt.
All right, on to the question. Why did you end up in the ER? 206-421-ROCK.
A comment here says, I have a fun reason to go to the hospital. Back in October, I woke up at 7 a.m., mild discomfort in my abdomen. This lasts all day. It's getting worse all day until finally I go to the ER 15 hours later at 10 p.m. I thought I was constipated. Quick side note, I can see not wanting to go to the ER if you think you're constipated. Nevertheless, turns out I was pregnant and in active labor. I wasn't showing. I did not know I was pregnant. 10 minutes after I showed up at the ER, Miss 8-pound, 3-ounce Holly was born.
Get out of here.
Wow. So how does the father of the baby take this news? Because it's one thing to say, hey, baby, I'm pregnant. You get 9 months to think about it, right? And you understand, and you're buying cribs and all that. And that's one thing. Financially, you're preparing for it. You're never really prepared, but you know to buy a crib. You know to buy diapers.
You're getting everything ready to go.
Relatives and friends, they give you advice. They'll help you get diapers. Like, you're going to call this dude like, hey, hun, not constipated, but you're a father now.
It's almost like, 25 people are coming over to your house in a half hour for a party.
And you just found out.
Figure it out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, because there's a lot that you need to do.
You're hosting the Super Bowl this year.
Right.
And this is the food they expect.
Yeah. And you better figure something out because when people come over, when that kid comes home, they need a place to sleep. They need a place to have their diaper changed.
That's what I mean. Like,
they need wipes.
You have no idea this is going to happen. And just the amount it takes for an infant, right? Just to, like, keep their ass alive and all the crap that goes along with it. Like, again, you can stress about it for 9 months, but at least you have what you need.
You might need a pump for breast. You might need bottles. You might need formula, depending on the situation.
You might have parents that come into town.
This thing.
We're going to come in and we're going to stay for 2 weeks, right, to help you get adjusted. For the first kid especially, parents like, look, this is like, hey, Mom, listen, what are you doing next week? Oh, nothing. Yeah, your grandmother, I need you here. When did you find out? Well, my wife gave birth about an hour and a half ago. We did. Why didn't you tell her when she was pregnant? We didn't know she was pregnant. She thought she was constipated. It's not a poop. It's a child. I need your help.
That's crazy to go full term. Like, we knew somebody that was, 5 or 6 months into it before she realized it.
Right, and that's still crazy.
Like she thought she just gained like 10 or 15 pounds and finally went to the doctor, and the doctor's like, you're pregnant.
Well, psychologically.
And you gained 10 or 15 pounds.
Psychologically, when you know you're pregnant, and how would you know this? But as far as placebo and the placebo effect is concerned, you're trying to do all the right things. You're trying to eat right. You're trying to take care of your body. You know you're taking care of another person. You maybe have weird food cravings. You have all these things because psychologically, you know for a fact that you are pregnant, right?
Right.
If you don't know that, my question would
want
be,
another shot?
You go through that same process mentally that you would if you knew. So
like
again,
the craving, right? Because if you wanted peanut butter and pickles, you might go, let me do a pregnancy test because this is really, really, really strange.
But don't they say now some of the craving stuff is just kind of people's own head?
That's what I'm saying. It's a placebo. So if you don't know
there's
you're
other
pregnant,
stuff you can't have. So it's almost like
you want that for sure.
My ankles are swollen. All these things that actually do happen. Psychologically, if you don't know that you're pregnant, is it that severe? In other words, mind over.
Or do you have to look back and go, that explains
or
this,
just,
that, and the other?
Exactly, because if you don't know, you can't rationalize why.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know what it is about pickles and peanut butter. I swear to God, I tried it one
night. A lot of people say that they get a lot more, women will be more, they'll get a little bit more randy when they're pregnant. Mm-hmm. I've heard that before. That was not the case for me, but, I've heard that said before. Maybe she was like, well, man, my appetite for sex was,
sure.
I was ready to go. And then you realize, well, that's why,
Yeah, that is crazy to me. That is terrifying.
Our question, why did you end up in the ER? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Joe. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola. So about 3 weeks ago, my wife and I were at home, and a friend of ours had just given us a new aquarium to put one of our pythons in because he'd outgrown his current one. And we had it just sitting in the formal living room. And one night, my wife went dashing down the stairs, didn't turn on the lights, and I heard this loud crashing sound. Went running down the stairs, and there she was, bundled up on the floor, had run right through the aquarium and shattered it with her foot. So she was laying on the ground. I looked at her foot. It had about a 4-inch long gash that opened up about 3 inches wide.
Jesus.
Dropped her in the car, rushed off to the emergency room. They stitched her up. A week later, it's inflamed and painful. We had to take her back. They didn't clean it out well enough. She got an infection from whatever residue was on the aquarium.
I was going to ask, because, fish, it's one thing to cut yourself on glass. It's another thing to cut yourself on glass that contains fish and all the weirdness that fish put out into the water.
Yeah, so now she's been on all these antibiotics. They're doing some tests because the infection might have gotten into the bone of her foot.
Oh, God. Ooh. So, what's the scenario if the infection has reached the bone?
So the scenario is if it's bad enough, they have to remove parts of bone. And if it gets really bad, which it's not going to because we've caught it early enough, if it got bad enough, they'd have to amputate whatever it was.
Jesus.
And how old is she?
She is 43.
Okay. 43. Damn.
You should serve her fish. Like, look, you're getting back at them. I got your cod. Something, man.
Well, look. Okay, so what do you think is there's so many things in your house that could potentially send you to the ER.
Now, are we talking damage like that?
Obviously, the kitchen. Obviously,
everything,
the bathroom.
sure.
Things with hard angles, places where you could slip and fall. But I really, truly, we got an email on this. But a woman was making scalloped potatoes with a mandolin.
That will
so
send
for
you
me,
there.
I think out of all the kitchen gadgets and things that you could have, that is probably the most dangerous thing in your kitchen that could send you to the ER pretty quickly.
I would agree. I've never owned one. Everybody I know that owns one, though, ends up slicing their hand at some point.
I own one. Well, when you buy them, traditionally it comes with like this chainmail glove. Not full-on knight around the round table, but... And like anything, it's like
but that's
holding
gotta
the
be
bagel
restaurant quality
when you
stuff.
cut it. It's like, man, wear the glove. And like anything, and I'm guilty of it, you're getting a little impatient or you're in a hurry. So it's like you said, like cutting a bagel, you hold it wrong. You know you're holding it wrong. And then the moment finally comes you cut your hand, you don't do it again. The mandolin is the same thing. And inevitably you'll talk to someone like, dude, I've scalloped potatoes for 3 years, nothing happened. You go like, no, I understand. And then about 2 months later, when you cut yourself on a mandolin, I mean, it is hard to explain the difference between cutting yourself on that and cutting yourself on a knife. Because the mandolin is almost like a guillotine for your hand.
Yeah.
You're going down with all this force, and it is such a clean cut. Like, it takes a second to realize that you have just shaved the side of your hand off. Then there's this big-ass piece of skin with little blood droplets, and you're like, oh, no. Oh, my God.
I had like an 8-inch kitchen knife that I would keep sharp as a razor. You know what I mean? That was the one. But when my kids were learning how to cook and stuff, I would leave all the other knives dull because they wanted to learn how to cook and cut and do all those things. And I realized that I'm not sure what is more dangerous, but I just knew how sharp the knife is that I use on a regular basis, and I did not want that in their hands.
The adage that they had, at least when we were working in the restaurants, they said, look, the sharper the knife, yes, the cleaner the cut, but inevitably that works to your benefit. Like, you still might have to go to the ER. Yeah. It's just the doctor say, ooh, we can reattach this digit because it's such a clean cut, where the dull knives. I know it sounds dumb, but, like, it's a tough call with kids because the sharper the knife, the easier it is to cut for the obvious reasons. So when you give them a dull knife, it's harder to cut, and they use more body weight to cut things, right? So while the cut itself won't be as severe, it's more likely that they'll cut themselves.
Okay. All right.
If that makes any sense.
All right.
Although, all of that said, my daughter, she has a plastic serrated knife. I mean, it's thick plastic, not like something. And she'll cut her strawberries and stuff with that. And I watch her. She does a good job because I told her how to hold it and all this kind of thing. But if you hand her a metal knife, I'm like, baby, it's the same thing. She won't do it. She's like, nope.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, she's like, I'm cool with my plastic knife. I'm like, all right. By the way, we got to say,
sometimes watching people use the wrong knife on something's brutal, too.
In my home, I request that I do all the cutting.
It's like, how do you not know that's a bread knife?
You know, like, dude, please don't use that. And then people get mad at you.
That's an onion. You can't use a bread. That knife's not going to work.
And then people always get mad at me. It's like, well, you're going to make me nervous. Like, I should make you nervous. I don't feel like going to the hospital because you want to cut an onion. Like, just let me cut the onion. It is fine. We got an update from our I did not know I was pregnant, thought I was constipated friend. As far as dropping the news to Dad, hey, I know you didn't know I was pregnant, but now you're a father. She says, well, they did not let him into the ER because of COVID restrictions and all that. So I texted him with a picture of both of us and wrote, congrats, Daddy. He about crapped himself, didn't believe me, just laughing my ass off, but the family rallied together. I've had everything for her in like one day. And yes, I did look back and have an, oh yeah, that makes sense. So as far as weird cravings or anything like that. So now you know.
Okay. Why did you end up in the ER? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Geraldine. Welcome to the men's room.
Boo, bitches.
Boo.
So how are you guys?
We're doing great.
Anyhow, I ended up in the ER, and Miles, you'll like this. I had my first colonoscopy.
Okay.
Turned 50, went in, did my colonoscopy, came home sick as a dog. Fever, chills, can't even walk, so sick. And I keep calling them. I'm like, is this normal? And finally they told me, they said, you just wait till tomorrow. I called them the next day, and they said, well, you have to go to the ER. When I got to the ER, they rushed me right in. They assumed that they had perforated my bowels when they removed it.
Is that what actually happened?
No, there's a syndrome for it where it's like they almost perforated my bowel.
Because they have a camera, they could see that.
Yeah.
That's a good theory.
I was hoping like maybe it was like just like they didn't clean the damn thing before.
Right.
Something like that.
No, I was so sick. But, you know, that nurse came in and shot me full of Dilaudid, and it was all fine.
So how long did it take for them to remedy the situation?
I was in the ER room until probably 8 hours.
Jesus. Did they remove any polyps from you?
They did. They removed a large one.
Okay, well, see, then in the end, I mean, no pun intended, that was the whole reason you went. You know what I'm saying? So...
Yeah.
You know, but there's an irony to it, right? Because nobody wants to go to the emergency room because obviously something traumatic has happened.
Mm-hmm.
But when you go to the emergency room, do you feel better if they're like, hey, we'll get to you, and it takes them 4 hours? Not that you want to wait, but that means whatever's going on with me is not the end of the world, right? Or you go in, and like our friend Geraldine there, they're like, oh, God, we got to grab them immediately. Because I think in my head, I'm starting to panic. Like, wait a minute. The average wait in the ER is 3 hours. I'm just checking in, and the time it takes me to give you my insurance or something, you're like, oh dear God, and you're putting me in a wheelchair. Like
you were with. I mean,
bad.
you were with me in the quickest I've ever seen, and that was with my head. But my head was split open. But literally, it seemed from what I remember is we walked in and they were like, why don't you just come on back?
It was because it was the time, and it wasn't. So when they first saw your injury, here's some guy got a big gash in the back of his head. All right. Well, yeah, apparently, as I'm saying to the man, best I know, it happened last night. How long ago? I was not there. He called me, this is within an hour. He called me about an hour ago. All I know is it happened last night. And that's when they were like, put him in the chair. All right, and that's when they informed me that if I, doctors.
Right, well, I'm still kind of out of it. So I'm just like,
I wasn't there, man.
Yeah, I was like, all right, I'll sit in the chair.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, that's the quickest I've seen someone get taken was you, honestly.
Yeah. Okay, those little Zoom clinics. Like they're all over, like
okay.
one of them in the neighborhood.
Not to be confused with the operating or whatever the system you do Zoom calls.
Right.
Oh,
there's a little clinic like that in Fremont. Now I just assume if I cut myself and I'm bleeding profusely, I need to go to the emergency room, right? Now even my appendix ruptured and I didn't even know it. I might go to Zoom care and go, man, my stomach's killing me.
Right.
But it seems like, do you go there like if you open up a womb on your body?
You can.
Can you?
Like I had one where I get that same cyst. One of them got infected and started to rupture. So I just went to that Zoom. She was like, "Yeah, I'll just cut it out now because you're if we don't, it's going to burst." It's
but I feel like, but you used the key word, and I feel like if you go to the emergency room, and what's the nature of your problem, and you use the word ruptured, right?
Yeah,
that's never. You can say I cut myself. That's like okay. If you say something ruptured. Even if it's not severe, I feel like they will at least take you back there real quick because that's just never ever good.
I'm just wondering what the level of, I feel like if you open up a place on your body, you need to go to the ER.
Yeah.
Well, there's blood, too. Right. It's the big difference, right?
So that should be the name of the clinic. Is there blood?
Right.
If not, go next door.
Exactly. You're in the wrong place.
It was like that hematoma I had on my leg. Like, in the end, I could have gone to just a little clinic, but it just hurt so bad and was growing. I went to the emergency room. But at the end, they were like, here's a bunch of pain pills, but there's not much we could do for you.
Right.
Other than x-ray it.
Yeah. Just to let you know, you're right.
But right, if you're bleeding and you feel like you could die from loss of blood, I feel like that's probably the difference line.
Okay. Blood makes like I said, last time I had to go to my daughter, and it's a fairly superficial wound. Ted, Mike, you guys probably know this just from shaving. If you cut your head, for whatever reason, it takes 8 weeks to stop bleeding. Right? So she busted it. She split it open, and again, it was not the most severe wound, but it wouldn't stop bleeding, and also she bashed her head. So we take her to the ER, and again, there's a woman who's signing in front of us. We're next, and this woman keeps turning around looking, because I got my daughter cradled in my arms, and there's blood, leaking down my hands. And I understand, it's a kid, we see blood. So this woman's like, please, you go first. And I'm like, no, man, just do your stuff. She's like, no, I insist. All right, fine. Sit down with my daughter, and again, the whole time, my daughter's very quiet. She just nuzzles to my chest. But if you look at me, you just see blood on my white shirt, quite intentional, and the blood coming through my hands, all right? So the woman who let us go first, she is now done signing her paperwork. She's now waiting in the waiting room with us. And when you look at her, I assume maybe she's dropping someone off or there to pick someone up because there's nothing visibly wrong with this person. And then you kind of hear this. And she's sitting directly across, so you can't.
But that doesn't get you in faster.
But so here's the thing: she cups her hands over her gut, gets up, and she sprints down the hall to unload the bowels. Okay, so I'm like, all right, maybe she's a nurse. That can't be why she's here. So she comes back. Maybe 5 minutes has passed. It's like an hour and a half of listening to her gut just drop, and she keeps running to the bathroom. I looked at my wife and said, she should probably go before our kid, dude.
See, I don't know if I'd be... I just think I have a case of the runs. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'd go to the ER for that.
Look, I'm right there with you, but I think most people feel that way, all right? But at some point, this woman decided this is more than the runs. And as I'm listening to it, I'm like... That is definitely more than the run.
Most people wouldn't go to the hospital for an erection, but if it's been there for 4 hours, they're going to the hospital.
Right. Anything's wrong with the penis.
Yeah, I think she was in that boat. And but the whole time in the emergency room, the only sound you hear, there's CNN or something playing in the background quiet. And just, and she has to keep pooping, man. And I don't want to look at her because I already know she's embarrassed. You know what I mean? I already know this is bad. We all know that we can hear your gut. And at this point, she's just getting all pale and sweaty. And I'm like... God damn, man. So my daughter's in and out of that. Once we get sick, we're in and out like 30 minutes. Like, there's nothing to it. When I leave, that woman is still there, but now her mother is with her. Her mother.
So if you want to get fast service, bring in a bleeding kit.
Bring a child.
Sure.
Bring a child.
Just get one off the street, cover them in ketchup.
Or have an open head wound that's been ignored for 12 and a half hours.
We got all the secrets.
Why did you end up in the ER? 206-421-ROUND.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.